Okay, so I'm going to go over the review for the test this Friday, October 19th. Look at problem number 1. Simplify the polynomial negative 3x, 7x minus 4 plus 6x minus the quantity of 13 minus 24x squared. So hopefully you all know you're going to distribute this. And so you get negative 21x squared plus 12x. And then this plus 6x is just kind of here by itself. Now you might think that you have to distribute that, but it's not being times by this. It's subtraction. So we're just going to have this 12 plus 12x plus 6x. And now here's where you have to be careful. If you have a minus sign in front of a quantity, that means the whole thing is negative. You can put a 1 right here. It makes your life a lot easier. And you distribute the negative 1 to everything. So negative 1 times 13 is negative 13. And then negative 1 times a negative 24 is positive 24x squared. Now you can just combine like terms. Combine these two. Combine these two. And you can then hopefully see the answer that is 3x squared plus 18x minus 13. So it would be this one right here. Number 2. What is the expression that represents the product of 4 less than twice x and 2 more than the quantity 4 times x? So 4 less than twice x. So that's twice x, 2 times x minus 4. It's not 4 minus 2x. It's 4 less than twice x. So that's one of our quantities. And then the other one says 2 more than the quantity of 4 times x. So 4x plus 2. So if I take this 2x minus 4 and multiply by 4x plus 2, and now you just distribute the first thing to both things, and then the second number, negative 4, to both things. In my classes, I call that mailman, paperman, meaning that the mailman has to go to both houses, and then the paperman has to go to both houses. So go ahead and multiply that out. Excuse me, goodness. So then you get 8x squared plus 4x minus 16x, this is a plus sign, minus 8. And then combine like terms. These right here are like terms. So you get 8x squared minus 12x minus 8. Okay, number 3. Okay, again, it's the same thing as what we just did, except for you have 3 by 2. Now you can make a 3 by 2 rectangle. To keep it nice and organized. And I'm just going to get you started on this way. And then you write, but I'm not going to finish it, I'll let you finish it. If you like to use the box, it would look like this. And then you just multiply, 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 and then add them all up. But here we have the mailman has to go to both houses, so you can just distribute. And it would be 4x cubed. And then minus 6x squared. Okay, and then you have, let's say the paperman. He has to go to both houses. So then you get plus 2x squared. And minus 3x. And I don't know who this other guy is. You can make some story up of your own. You have this other guy that delivers something to every house, and he has to go to every house. So you get negative 8x plus 12. So we got these are like terms, and then these are like terms. And so you should get 4x cubed minus 4x squared minus 11x plus 12. And I'm not going to write that out. If you need to hear that again, you can rewind it. Hopefully you can get it from there. Okay, factor. X squared minus 8x minus 48. So this is a trinomial. This is using your steps of factoring a trinomial. And the first step is, does it have a GCF? Well, if you look at this, is there anything that goes into all three of those? Well, this is a 1, and there's not an x in all three, so there is no GCF. So you skip right to step 2, which is x game. And so you make the x a times c and b. And so your a is 1, your b is negative 8, and your c is negative 48. So up here we're going to have negative 48. And then down here we're going to have negative 8. So let's look at our factors. We got 1 and 48. We'll deal with the negative signs in a second. 2 and 24. 3 and 16. 4 and 12. 5 doesn't go in. 6 goes in 8 times. 7 doesn't go in, and 8 goes in. Okay. So we need two numbers that are going to be opposite signs, because you need a positive and a negative to make a negative 48. So really we're going to need a positive and negative that add up to negative 8. So let's see. Looks like 12 and 4. The 12 needs to be negative. And what I had my students do is put an x here and an x here. So we're dealing with 4x minus 12x. And we're going to rewrite this. This comes down as 1x squared or x squared. And then we have plus 4x minus 12x. That's bothering me. Minus 48. Then you split the middle. So we'll split it right here. Take out an x. I call it taking it out, and that confuses some people, but that's just a GCF of x divided by x divided by x. 6 plus 4. The GCF over here is negative 12. Divided by negative 12. Divided by negative 12. And again, you get x plus 4. And then what do you have in common? You have x plus 4 in common. And then you would divide by that x plus 4, which makes it cancel out. And you're left with x minus 12. And we don't have to solve it, we just had to factor it. So this is our answer. Okay, number 5. Again, you split the middle. Oops, what did I forget first? GCF first. Always GCF first. I'm going to undo that split the middle. Let's get rid of that. If you did that, you should have said, hey, Miss Dole, you forgot to split the middle. I mean, you forgot to GCF. You forgot to take the GCF first. So let's look. 2 goes into all these. There's not an x in everyone, so just 2. So we got GCF first, which is 2. So we got to write a 2, parenthesis, Divide everything through by 2. So we got 2x cubed minus 16x squared plus x minus 8. And just don't forget about the 2. I like to bring it down and say, okay, I'm going to have some factors here with that 2 up front. Okay, now guess what we can split the middle? Your greatest common factor here is 2x squared. So we're going to have 2x squared and divide everything through by 2x squared. And the 2's cancel. 2 of the x's will cancel. 1 x is left. Minus 8. Oops, I shouldn't have put that there. I should have put that there. But that is going to be one of our factors, so I'll just leave it there. And then this, guess what? This x minus 8 is the same as this, so must be we're just going to factor out a 1. So we divide by 1, we divide by 1, we still get x minus 8. So one of my factors is going to be x minus 8, and the other one is going to be 2x plus 1. And then you should always multiply it back out and check the answer and see if you get the right, if you have the right answer. Number 6, this is just GCF, take out a 10, divide by the 10. When I talk about GCF, I always talk about taking it out, because we're kind of taking it out front. That's the first step, bring it down, divide by 10, x squared minus 9. Now, then you'll learn that, you've learned that this is a difference of squares. And difference of squares is a plus b times a minus b. And how do you find your a and your b? Well, you square root this. Square root of x squared is x. Square root of 9 is 3. So you bring down your 10. And then you do a plus b, x plus 3, and x minus 3. The x goes there, the 3 goes there. Okay, number 7. What are the x-intercepts? Solutions, that means solve. You're solving here. Of y equals x squared plus 2x minus 15. Well, the first step of solving is always factor. When you're solving a quadratic, it looks like this. You factor it, and we gotta use, guess what? The x game. There's no GCF. Try GCF first. If there is no GCF, use the x game. Your a is 1, your b is 2, your c is negative 15, so a times c is negative 15, and our b is 2. So we got 1 and 15, 3 and 5, and one of them has to be negative. We need these to add up, so it has to be negative 3x plus 5x. That's going to be our middle terms. That's what our b is splitting into. Bring down the x squared. Bring down the minus 15. Split the middle. Take out an x on this side. Take out a 5 on this side. And it's going to be a positive 5. Divide by x, you get x. Divide by x, you get minus 3. Divide by 5, you get x. Divide by 5, you get minus 3. X minus 3. X plus 5. Now, if you're going to solve it, you take out that y. See that y up there? And you put in 0. Now we're going to set our factors equal to 0 over here. X minus 3 equals 0. X plus 5 equals 0. And I'll let you finish those. You just add negative 5 to both sides, add 3 to both sides, and you get positive 3 and -5. You finish that by yourself. Great. Write the functions for the following parent functions. So you just got to go back to your parent function cards in your interactive notebook. This one is going to be f of x. Use f of x. I'm not going to do all of these. I'm going to let you do them and look them up. Just go look up in your parent function cards. And just make sure you use f of x equals. So go look these up in your parent function cards. This one's going to be absolute value with those lines. This one's going to be square root with a square root sign. And then number 9 says draw a linear function and write the function. I'll do this one with you. F of x equals x. If you look that up in your parent function card, you'd see it. F of x equals x. The graph goes through the middle, and then it goes through 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, negative 1, negative 1, negative 2, etc. And then your line looks. Let's see if I can do it. It'll look like that. But it's going to have an arrow on both ends. Make sure you put an arrow right there on this end. Next page. I think I'm actually going to stop right there and make the next part part 2. Okay, so that's the end of part 1.